Welcome to another edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. We're getting close to the big stuff now, folks. The regular season is over. The LL playoffs are well underway, and we're going to break down some of that stuff. Again, the disadvantage of being on a Tuesday, recording the show on Tuesday, because lots of big stuff is happening tonight that you will already know the result of when you watch this, but there's nothing we can do about that except fill the airwaves with our analysis and brilliance. Toward that end, we welcome aboard John Walk, boys basketball writer for LNP, LancasterOnline.com, Jeff Reinhardt, girls basketball writer for the same publications, and I'm Mike Gross, your humble host.
Yes.
Guys, we're down to the semis, which means the quarters just happened. John, tell us what you saw and what impressed you.
All right, quarterfinals. So where was I at on Monday? I got to already.
It's so disorienting. We're on the road.
A packed gym at Warwick between the Section 2 champion Warriors and the Section 5 champion Columbia Tide. A combined 10 lead changes through the first couple minutes of the third quarter.
Wow.
The last came on a Tate Landis layup to put them in front.
And then Warwick does a run and kind of holds on, right?
Yeah, 7-0 run, and they finished the quarter on a 9-2 run, and that basically was the difference. They ended up winning by 10. So they're into the semifinals. They will play Hempfield, who you saw on Monday.
Yeah, Hempfield, I thought, played really well. They beat Elko 51-33. I thought it was kind of interesting because Hempfield is mostly a man-to-man team, but they have this zone trap thing that is very effective because of their overall size. And Elko has a small floor. And interestingly, Danny Walk told me that they practiced in the old gym at Hempfield, which has a smaller floor, to kind of prepare for that. And the press was very effective. They couldn't put the ball in the basket for the first 4 minutes of the game, so they couldn't set up the press. But once they got that going and got rolling, and I just am very, very impressed with Miguel Pena, the point guard for that team. He really is a point guard, great passer, great distributor, great playmaker. And, Hempfield moves on. After a little bit of a glitch at the end of the regular season, moves on.
And the other semifinal will be Section 3 runner-up Mannheim Central facing, for the third time this season, Section 3 champion Lampeter Strasburg. We bring it up to say, Jeff, thanks for stepping up covering boys Monday night. You got to see LS for the first time.
Yeah, I got a couple of odd looks like, Reinhardt, what are you doing here? You lost? LS boys are fun to watch. You guys haven't been kidding all winter. They're a ton of fun. They can really shoot it. Yep. The Ty Burton kid is legit as advertised. He's hit like 5 threes, had a buzzer beater 3. Berkeley Wagner had a buzzer beater 3. Is it Parado hit a couple of corner threes late to kind of dagger it. They're a lot of fun. They're tough. And I know I did look at the scores. Looks like they beat Central pretty handily both times. But you got to play the game. That's why you play the game.
Well, with the emergence of Berkeley Wagner now, they now have 5 guys who can score, which is really unusual. I mean, that they're having an extraordinary season, and I think it's amazing what they've done to this point. Almost no matter what happens from here on out, you can talk about their schedule and their lack of size, but it's just amazing what they've done. Now, we should point out that Berkeley Wagner
rolled an ankle.
Yeah,
pretty
rolled
bad.
An ankle. We don't know what that means. But a little bit hobbled as he left the gym.
Yeah, we were back in the locker room area at LS, and he was kind of hobbling out of there on crutches, and he said, don't worry, it's just precautionary, I'll be fine. Burton said, hey, I said, what makes you guys tick here with the threes and everything? He said, good luck trying to guard 5 guards who can all shoot. Yeah. He said, if we're making shots, and his quote was, if we're all making shots, we're scary. And they are pretty scary.
And I guess we should give some pub to the Barons of Mannheim Central into the league semifinals for the first time since 2015 for the first time under coach Charlie Fisher. They came back from down 15 in the first round against Lancaster Manor. Took it to overtime, won it.
I saw that one.
Same scores in the first round and the quarterfinals. Both Baron wins 62-57 over Mennonite, 62-57 over Mannheim Township, the co-Section 1 champion. So maybe third time's the charm for Mannheim Central. You never know. Charlie Fisher knows how to coach them up. So maybe
a little bit of a Cinderella thing there with Mannheim Central at the end of the year here, and part of it is the emergence of Judd Novak as a really outstanding basketball player. Those of you who know him as the quarterback of the Barons, in football season will relate to that. Let's do a little bit. We'll get to the girls in just a second here. Let's do a little bit on the matchups in the semis and what we're looking at. I realize that this is on Wednesday now.
Right. All right. So I've seen both Mannheim Central and Lampeter Strasbourg games, and they've both obviously been one-sided. The second one, Central hosted against Lampeter Strasbourg, who did not have a Ty Burton at that point, and LS still did not have trouble with them. Now, Judd Novak wasn't scoring like he was, like he is now back then. So perhaps that helps them on the offensive end, just to kind of have a, he's already kind of a point guard facilitator that can maybe make life a little bit easier for the leading scorer, Trey Grube there. From three, and then they have a bunch of role guys kind of around them. And Charlie Fisher, credit to him, man. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get his guys to play well. And he can switch up defenses.
He's like the St. Joe's Hawk. Right. His arms he's doing this the whole game.
Right.
It's an amazing feat of stamina in addition to everything else.
I told Charlie later on, I was blown away after that second loss to Lampeter Strasbourg. Not once was Charlie hard on his guys. They're losing by 15, losing by 20, and he's still, next play, let's go, you guys can do it. So constantly positive, and hey, maybe it's finally paying off now that things are starting to click and buy in. And by the way, if you're watching Mannheim Central, maybe keep an eye on Coach Fisher, because he's a lot of fun to watch, especially if the game's close. I asked him afterwards how much water weight he must have lost that night, and he's like, man, I probably lost 10 pounds at the start of this season to now. I should have weighed myself.
It's funny you guys say that. I talked to Ed Berryman, LS, and I said, okay, Central, another crack at him. First word out of his mouth, Charlie Fisher, great coach. Asked Ty Burton, hey, third shot at the Barons, first word out of his mouth, Coach Fisher will have those guys ready to play. So, yeah.
And the other semi is a really interesting game between Warwick and Hempfield, which they played in the regular season, and Warwick won it on a banked-in three Hempfield won it on a banked-in three at the buzzer. Warwick seems to be playing better now, I think. Yeah. That's fair to say. That's really a good matchup.
And both teams are almost identical just in terms of the amount of points they're scoring, the amount of points that they're giving up. I guess the thing that Warwick will be concerned by is the length from Hempfield, just a really sizable team. And
they have good overall size. They don't really have a huge post presence in their offense or a shot blocker or anything like that, but good overall size.
And that's a concern for a Warwick team that, like an LS, is pretty much all guards across the board. They do have a little bit of size down low. I'm interested in the matchup, obviously, between Warwick senior point guard Tate Landis, Hempfield junior point guard Miguel Pena, two of the best players in the league, two of the best point guards in the league. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch. And I haven't seen Hempfield since they beat Manhattan Township. I don't know if they've kind of improved defensively or not, but we know Warwick can put up a ton of points. They got 3 or 4 guys who can shoot from the outside, and they do prefer to go inside first and then outside. So,
well, these are both teams that defend pretty well, and both teams that have some weapons. And again, that guard matchup will be fun.
Warwick is in the league semis for the 3rd time in 4 years. We know they got there and fell short back in 2019 and 2020. So perhaps, again, they've kind of been knocking on the door. Maybe they can kind of get there. But Hempfield last year reached the league final. So these are two teams who are familiar with that stage. So I don't think they're going to come out tight.
It doesn't get much more old school LL boys basketball than Hempfield against Warwick.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be fun tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's really some intriguing stuff going on there. Now, the Rhines. Let's go to the girls' stuff.
Okay.
And we're to the semifinal stage, and again, that will be tonight, Tuesday.
Yes. 2 interesting matchups. Penn Manor against Ephrata. Ephrata's kind of been the Cinderella, I guess, of the bracket. They had to come through the play-in round. Who'd they beat? Elko.
Well, they beat Central on the other night.
They beat Central in the quarters, and they had to come through the play-in round. They beat Elko in that game. Yes, they beat Elko in the play-in round to set up the matchup in the quarters against Manheim Central. Beat them 36-33.
Yeah, and they're not making districts, so this is it. This is everything for them.
End of the line, win or bust for Ephrata. No districts. They were the first team out. They were on the 13 line in 6A. So LL playoffs is the end of the line for Ephrata. So we'll see if they can knock off the Comets, who've been really good. Section 1 champs, humming right along. You saw Penn Manor on Saturday. What'd you think of Lily Shugra? She's a nice player.
She's legit. The game was close near the end. I think Penn Manor went from up 10 points in the second quarter and only up 1 point in the fourth quarter. And Lily Sugar comes up big, back-to-back buckets. It's a couple big free throws down the end. It seemed like the comments were kind of, I don't know, maybe starting to clamp up there as LS was ratcheting up the pressure that home the Penn Manor was. And Lily says, let me have the ball, and wins it for him, essentially.
Great kid, too.
Yeah.
She told me this season, I said, boy, what's making you tick this year? First thing she said, she was all embarrassed. I don't like scoring all these points. I like to share the ball, and we're much better when we're balanced, but she's averaging like 20 and 24 in the last 10 games.
And I should say the first time Penn Manor and LS matched up, Penn Manor beat them largely with the 1-3-1 press.
Yes.
And Megan, now Thompson, formerly Quinn, who I went to school with, was telling me afterwards, like, I was just blown. I'm like, how many defenses did you play? And she listed like 1-3-1, 2-1-2, 2-3 zone, man-to-man. She's like, I was just trying to throw them off there because I wasn't really satisfied. So kudos to the Comets for getting to a rare stage here.
Yeah, this is the deepest they've gone. They've never been in a final, so we'll see if they got there. 1-3-1's their bread and butter.
Right.
I'm sure they will pull that out early and often against Ephrata, because Ephrata can shoot it. 100-plus threes. Jasmine Griffin, Bryn Adams, Kara TC, those kids can all make threes. Since I mentioned Griffin, again, by the time you see this, she should be in the 1,000-point club. Jasmine needs eight points against Penn Manor to get 1,000. And if they lose and she doesn't get it, she'll get it in game 1 next December. But I expect Griffin to be in the 1,000-point club later Tuesday. The other semifinal is the game of the year. It's the one people have been clamoring for. Lancaster Catholic against Columbia. Columbia 22-0 going into this.
Yep.
Fantastic. Lancaster Catholic, 4 losses, but they were against 4 really good teams. They're battle tested and ready for this.
Yeah.
Catholic going for their 16th league title. 15's a record, obviously. Saw them both in the quarters on Saturday. The Columbia-Lebanon game was one of the best games I've seen, flat out. Columbia gym,
Sounded like
it was
great.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Packed gym up at Columbia Saturday afternoon. You couldn't get near it.
And Lebanon down 20?
Down
weren't they? And
21.
took the lead.
Down
They came back and took the
21.
lead. Yeah.
Yes, and Lebanon roared all the way back. Correa was her usual
But she
self.
didn't go crazy. You would have thought that for them to win that game, and especially the way they did, she would have had to get 30
Like
plus.
30, yeah.
She had, what, 19?
She had 18 or 19.
And 3 Lebanon starters fouled out.
Including
That-
Correa.
That is almost a win for Lebanon to me. I mean, that raises their stock in my mind.
Yeah, they say Coach Walburn wasn't overly pleased when I caught up to
Well,
her
I
after
mean, I'm
the
not
game.
saying, and I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just
Sure.
saying, I thought it was impressive for Lebanon to be in that game.
Yes.
Given that set of facts.
Yes.
Impressive.
Bree Draghi had 32, and Columbia just, wow. I figured starting with that game, we're going to see what Columbia's all about. Facing
Bree
a
had 15 in the
6A.
first quarter, I noticed.
She did. She made everything. So to
She
play a
fouled it.
6A, and now tonight they get Catholic, which is a powerhouse. If they get to Thursday, they're going to get a 6A, and then they have districts. So that's game of the year stuff. Catholic's Catholic. We'll see if Lily Lehman plays. She got hurt Saturday night, and in the Hempfield game, Crusaders get payback. Beat Hempfield by 20. They pretty much rolled Saturday night.
Yeah.
Hempfield beat them in the finals last year. So
Yeah.
good payback for Catholic, which is here yet again. See if they can get to Thursday.
And can they disrupt? Can they do what they
Yes.
do defensively and disrupt Columbia, which
Yes.
is such a guard-oriented,
All-
quick team, right?
Yep, the Draggies. This
that's
will be the
dynamic
biggest
of
test.
that
They're
game.
gonna guard Columbia. Not that anybody hasn't guarded Columbia, but they're gonna trap them. They're gonna press them. They're gonna man them up. So I'm really anxious to see this game. This is just a terrific matchup.
This week, no matter what happens, this week is a huge plus for Columbia going forward into the postseason, right?
Yeah, because they're gonna.
I mean,
yep.
this is.
They're gonna play some
They're
tough
playing
games.
up and,
Big time.
and doing it pretty well.
Big time, yeah. And in 2A, they'll play Millersburg next week, and Country Day plays Linden Hall, and then those winners will meet at the Giants Center. So we'll see if Columbia could win 2A, but boy, this one on Thursday is just going to be dynamite.
All right, let's take a little bit of a look at districts. We don't want to get comprehensive about this because there's so many teams that are in it, and we don't want to make your head spin and, frankly, our head spin. But let's take a little bit of look at high seeds and teams that have a chance to maybe play for a while.
All right. District 3 playoffs start next week. Some are on Monday, some are on Tuesday. We'll put up a graphic hopefully here to kind of give you guys an idea who's playing when. Class 6A, District 3 Class 6A, we have 3 LL League teams. 2 of them match up in the first round. Lebanon and Warwick squaring off for what will be the 3rd time this season. The winner will advance to face number 2 Cumberland Valley, which should be interesting. I'd still like, I know Cumberland Valley's been playing well, but winner coming out of Warwick and Lebanon, you would think would still at least be able to put up a fight there. Hempfield has a first round bye. They will host a quarterfinal on February 25th against the winner of Cedar Cliff and Muhlenberg. Class 5A, Lampeter Strasburg is your top seed. They will host number 10 Mechanicsburg. Also in Manheim Central, Elizabethtown, Octorara. Central will travel to Northeastern. E-Town will host Lower Dauphin. And Manheim Central will be at home hosting Northeastern. E-Town will be at home hosting Lower Dauphin. Lower Dauphin, by the way, defending District 3 5A champs. Again, they won that on their home floor given the circumstances of COVID last year. This year, the championship games will be
and they have 10 or 11 losses, but they have some really good wins.
Yeah,
too.
and the Elko assistant coach, Scott Ativo, is the brother of the head coach out at Lower Dauphin. So I got to kind of get the rundown on Lower Dauphin this season. They've had a really tough schedule. All that is to say, that'll be a battle for Elizabethtown for sure, but congrats to Lee Eckert, the town coach out there, for getting in there. Octorara played like 5 games in 7 days the final week of the regular season to improve their power ratings. They made it. Top 16 make it in District 3 5A. They're in at number 14. We'll travel to number 3 Shippensburg in the first round there. Class 4.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Shippensburg is a very good team.
Class 4A, we have 1 LL League team. 8-seeded Elko will host a District 3 playoff game against number 9. While missing, the winner advances to face top-seeded Berks Catholic in the quarterfinals on February 24th. Class 3A, Lancaster Catholic, if you remember, is your defending District 3 3A champion. Obviously lost, 4 starters from that group and have had an up-and-down year so far. But they will travel to number 4 Kutztown in a District 3 quarterfinal on Monday. Get this, the winner of that could be Catholic at Columbia in the District 3 3A semifinals on the 24th. Columbia is your number 1 seed in Class 3A. They have a really good shot at winning it all in districts anyway.
They're an overwhelming favorite, but they've taken some hits lately. I'm kind of intrigued by what's going on with them.
And I wonder too, because it's been 3 or 4 years now of them being really good, and then they kind of get outside of their gym, they get on a bigger court, they get in a tough road environment. Granted, they have 4.
Which shouldn't be a problem, but.
And I was looking at that going into the quarterfinals. They do have 4 road wins against plus 500 teams going into Monday's quarterfinals that they lost at Warwick, and they were in that game against a Class 6A Warwick team. But
maybe
that's
it's nothing, but it's
something to consider at the very least. So.
Something.
Columbia,
maybe it's nothing, but it's something.
Yeah.
What a brilliant statement by me. Thank you.
And finally, 2 more. District 3 Class 2A, 3rd seeded Lancaster Mennonite. If you remember last year's District 3 2A champion, they will host number 6 Fairfield in the quarterfinal round matchup. And again, they were in that game with Central and very well could have been in the quarterfinals. So I very much still like the Blazers in that matchup.
Had a 15-point lead in that game.
Right. Ooh. And District 3 Class 1A, we have 1 LL League team. Lancaster Country Day will host New Covenant Christian. Want to give a shout out to 4 other teams in 1A from Lancaster County who have qualified. Top seeded, unbeaten Mount Calvary Christian. Wow. They will host Lancaster County Christian, and then number 2 Linville Christian will host number 7 La Academia. If you remember, La Academia, coached by McCaskey alum legend Jerry Johnson. They were last year's District 3 1A champion. In my mind, I would think possibly La Academia and Mount Calvary could meet up for the District 3 1A title. And
the La Academia is not what they was.
No, but they played.
They lost some weapons, and Mount Calvary is. I mean, what do they have? 1 loss in the last 2 years?
Right.
Wow.
And they have like an LS, like they have 4 or 5 guys who can all score.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
not exactly like an LS, but, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
All right.
Girls,
do it, big guy.
Okay, these are all off the top of my head. I'm winging this totally.
Well, just give us an overview.
Okay, 6A, Lebanon's in. They play Central York, tough game. 2 locals play in the other one. Manheim Township at Hempfield. Hello. The rivalry.
And let's explain quickly that
it
seems goofy for 2 local teams to be playing each other in the first round of districts, but it's just math.
It's the way it is.
Power rating. It's the way they do it.
Back in the day, they would have changed it. District 3 would have changed that game.
But it would be hard to do now.
Yeah.
It would be hard to do. Yeah.
Hempfield at Township, loser out, winner plays Dallastown, the 2 seed. 5A, interesting. Mannheim Central's in. They play New Oxford. LS is in. They play York Suburban. Garden Spot is in. Sparty Nation. First time since 2008. Had to beat CV last Friday to get in. They did. Spartans go to districts. Tough one. They got to go play at Gettysburg, the 2 seed. They won it 2 years ago. They were in the final last year. So they're really good. But Garden Spot's in. Good for those guys. 4A, Lancaster Catholic. Catholic got in a tricky bracket. They lost that non-league game last week to Loyal Sock from District 4. That loss knocked them down a peg. So Catholic in the first round has to go to Schuylkill Valley, which is 20-2. Pretty good. They win that. They're at Dauphin in the semis.
Oh man,
They have to play them in the semis.
How many make states in it?
I want to say like 6.
Oh, so they don't have to win. They don't have to.
They
beat
don't have to
make
beat
states.
Dauphin to make states.
Okay.
They would go to a playback round. But Schuylkill Valley and Dauphin in the top bracket, that's pretty tough. 4A. That's Lancaster Catholic. 3A, Pequay Valley's in. They get a home game against Upper Dauphin. 2A is Columbia plays Millersburg, and Linden Hall plays Lancaster Country Day. So we got 3 teams all there in those 4 spots. The semifinal winners go to states. Single A, Lititz Christian's in. They play Greenwood, and Greenwood's pretty tough. And Lancaster Country Day plays Mount Calvary in the first round. So
Good on
those
you,
3.
all
So
off the top of your head.
I try. I try. 15 locals are going.
I just realized this as you were talking.
Yeah.
Mannheim Central, Lampier, Strasburg boys meeting up in the semifinals, 3rd time this season. If Mannheim Central and LS win first round of districts next
They
week,
play?
they meet in the quarterfinals
For real.
what would be the 4th time.
You watch. For the good of the order, a tip of the cap. 3 LL girls coaches have announced that they're stepping down. And we got to start with Miss Shea at Elko. You know her real well.
Yeah, got
Ashley Shea, after 12 years, she has 3 little kids. All of them are starting to play basketball. She said, I got to be mom. And I need to go spend time with my kids and watch them play.
Great career as a player
Yes.
at Elko, as a player at Penn State.
Yep.
And as a coach.
Yep, nice as pie, and left the door open. She said, I might be back, but I need to go be mom for a while. So Ashley Shea, great job. John Myers at E-Town, 100-plus wins, took the Bears to the playoffs multiple times. John Myers, great job at E-Town. And Tony Fink with LS has announced he's stepping down. They're still playing. They'll go to districts, so he'll get a couple more games here. But Tony Fink, really good 9-10 years at LS, playoffs multiple times, a couple of section titles.
Just want to make one point apropos to what you just said,
Yes.
Rines. 25 teams in the Lancaster Lebanon League.
Yeah.
There are now 4 female head girls basketball coaches.
Not a lot.
4 out of 25.
Yeah.
And 3 openings, so maybe that can be addressed. I'm not, this is not social commentary, just throwing it out there.
No, you're right. Good point. Good point. Congrats to those coaches. It was an honor working with you, and you guys will be missed.
And Tony Fink, by the way, I should just throw in there, we kind of go back a ways. He used to be a assistant coach, I don't know, 20-odd years ago out of Penn, Manor, coached my brother.
Yeah.
And it's quite all these many years later, I got to finally cover him coaching in a game this past Saturday,
Nice.
so it was pretty cool. One last nugget for me, at Lancaster Country Day, senior guard Grant Landis last week, 42 points,
Way
36
up, man.
points
What?
in separate games. He's trying to get to
Went
1,000.
nuts.
He's trying.
At 978 career points going in the districts. Guaranteed at least 2
20,
games, so more
22.
than likely he'll get there.
Look at that.
That dude
Halftime
went
of the
nuts
opener.
all of a sudden.
That's crazy.
Good for Grant.
Halftime of their first game, he'll have that.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah,
22.
yeah.
That's
no
nothing.
problem.
That's nothing.
All right, guys. Next time we meet, we will know the league champions, and we will know a little bit more about districts. The districts will be well underway, so we're into the postseason, and we're having some kind of fun, right?
Definitely.
Right. That's it for the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. For Jeff Reinhardt, John Walk, I'm Mike Gross. We'll see you next time.